I've listened to Tiny and Katie since way back.
I love the Tiny and Katie show.
It's the Tiny and Katie Show.
Hey, I'm Tiny.
Hey, it's Katie. Happy 2023. Welcome to the new year.
Happy New Year. We're glad to be here. Thanks for joining us once again on the Tiny and Katie Show podcast, all powered by Roots Hair Design, Route 11 in Marion. Katie, what'd you do for New Year's?
I went to Charlottesville, which is one of my favorite towns, and hit a couple wineries, went down on the walking mall. I did not actually make it until midnight, which is probably the first time ever in my life that I did not make it until midnight. But as I'm getting older, I think I'm just caring a little less and less, especially because 2022 sucked. And so, I mean, I was just like, all right, whatever. See you later. We'll start a new year. How was your new year? I'm sure you were asleep by 8:30.
Well, first of all, Katie posts on her Facebook page, her personal page, and says all these, yes, 2022 sucked, but there were all these good things that came out of it. And guess what wasn't listed? Conspicuous by its omission.
You are such a narcissist. Yeah. So
no. Wait a minute. It's the Tiny and Katie show. Mm-hmm. So this is a 50-50 deal, even though I do 95% of the work. That we won't talk about that. However, so I don't understand how that didn't make the list.
I don't know. It was 9:30 at night when I made it. I apologize, but yeah,
there
were some high points, but for the most part, it was not a wonderful year at all.
As far as my New Year's, I'm going to surprise you. You are not going to believe this, but I swear on Grams, which is how I'm telling the truth, that this is the truth.
You got drunk.
From 10:30 p.m. on New Year's Eve until roughly 5 a.m. on New Year's Day, I blackout remember nothing.
From drinking?
Absolutely remember nothing.
From drinking?
Well, I was asleep.
Okay.
So it's just a joke. Obviously, I was not drinking. I went to bed at 10:30. I woke up at 4:30. So I, of course, don't remember anything. You know that joke? I'm not going to say that it's a full-on guffaw or even close to it.
Not even close.
That has not landed on anyone that I told it to in the past few days. Not one person.
Maybe that
has
means
been like, ha ha ha.
Well, maybe that means that your joke is not funny, and maybe stop using it. So let's put a pin in that joke here. Starting now.
Do you notice anything different about me?
I don't want to be mean, but yeah.
Say it.
You have a cold sore.
Yeah. This is. So here's what's happened in my household since Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve, I knew something was coming. You have that quote unquote something's off feeling. Mm-hmm. And I wound up getting, it was not COVID. I tested several times for it, primarily because there's one of our close relatives, one of Mary's close relatives who cannot be, compromised with that. So therefore, I've just been constantly checking that. So it wasn't that. It's just a typical cold viral infection, whatever you want to call it. And it winds up hitting me Christmas Eve still to this day. I mean, my voice is coming back to normal, but I thought to myself, okay, we're done. Everything's good. And wouldn't you know it? When you feel.
Oh, I know it. Yep.
Like that numbness.
Yep.
And you're like,
mine's
not.
Mine's like itchy. It's like I have a little bit of an itch, and that's when I know I'm getting it. And
mine's just this tingle, this little numbness. And then before you know it, boom, the eruption happens. And if you get cold sores, then they're just a pain. Now, I will give you good news, Katie. I don't know if you knew this or not. First of all, and this is unsolicited plug, Abreva works beautifully for cold sores. But Walmart now has their own brand.
Okay.
Which is substantially cheaper than Abreva. So there you go. Take that for, careful. Be careful there.
Yeah.
It was such a great deal. It just blew Katie back off her chair. But the point is, I've been thinking for years, why hasn't someone come up with a cheaper alternative to Abreva? And now it exists. So if you get cold sores, now you know.
So here's the thing is I've gotten cold sores since I was a kid. I actually had the nickname Katie Herpesen when I was in middle school.
I remember you saying that.
Because I used to get cold sores so badly.
Yeah.
Now, Abreva is it is great for cold sores. The problem is if the cold sore has already started, if you don't get it on that second that you feel that, it makes the time a little faster for it to heal, but it doesn't make it go away. Somebody one time recommended something to me called Herpesen. And if you use, I think I got it off of Amazon. And as soon as you feel it, if you put that on, it will actually keep it from fully
Wow.
What's the word I want? Like erupting,
Forming or
erupting.
well, hey, they do erupt.
Yeah. So I haven't been able to find it for a while, but I was using Herpecin as soon as I can find it. Now, I hate cold sores. I think they are so embarrassing, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. They're painful. They take a very long time to heal. They're right on your face. You can't do anything about it. And every time I get
and everyone knows what it is.
Yes.
It's not like a cut on your cheek or above your eyebrow. It's I wonder what happened to him. Did he get in a fight or whatever? It's cold sores. He's got herpes on his lips.
Yeah, and it's so embarrassing. I do not envy you at all with the cold sore situation. I mean, and
you want a closer look?
Well, no, I'm good because nope, good. Nope, good. I feel like I'm gonna catch it just like watching.
I know, right?
The thing, well, I don't remember. I was going to say something. It probably was not even worth it. But anyway, yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, but that's the way it goes. Let me tell you about the start to my 2023.
Okay.
I had an incredibly abscessed tooth that I let go and let go and let go because I've had a lot of work done to my mouth and I've had a lot of root canals, and they saw this infection in my tooth and they told me I needed to get it root canaled. So I called to a dentist and got a rough estimate for a root canal with health insurance. It was going to cost me upwards of $1,000. And I was
pull it.
I'm not doing that. So they ended up pulling it. So it's the very, very back tooth here on the bottom. And I'm telling you, it still hurts. It still hurts. I mean, I don't know if maybe now it's infected. I don't know. But I mean, it really, really hurt. And then that's part one. Part two, my Uno passed away over the summer. And so I have a lot of her food that I obviously am not going to use because she's dead, and I didn't want to just get rid of it, so I wanted to do something with it. So my roommate suggested that I take it to the SPCA. They're always looking for food, so I finally get up the nerve, like, all right, I'm gonna just do it. I don't know why I put it off for so long. I think it was just something that I knew I needed to do, but it just hurt my heart so much. Like
it was that final thing.
It was the final thing, just like the final getting rid of Uno. So I took the food to the shelter. I go inside, I drop it off, and out of the corner of my eye is the little cat area. And I see this really, really darling cat. And she's really petite and tiny, but she's got this big, huge, like squirrel tail. And I thought, wow, I'm going to go pet that cat. So I go in and I pet that cat. Oh, God. And that cat is all over me. That cat is climbing up in my lap. That cat is like, nudging its face all over me. And, the cat is now.
You came home with it.
I said, I have the cat. Yes, the cat is now mine.
Where is it?
So right now we have to keep her separate because there is the dog Walter, who is a very large lab, and then the cat Winnie. So Walter and Winnie, and Winnie gets really scared because Walter is so excited, so we have to just keep them separated at the moment.
Gotcha.
So Walter is here with me right now, so Winnie's in the other room at the moment. So I decided to start off 2023 on doing something different, and I love
good for
her.
your heart.
Yeah, it is, and it is good for my heart. You know how much I loved having a pet, and so I do I am happy about that. So that's how my 2023 started.
And Winnie has all functioning limbs.
She has 4 legs. They all work. Yeah, there's no there's nothing really that wrong with her. So that we had that. But speaking of like coming into a new year, so okay, if you had to rate 2022, what would be the number you would give it on a scale of 1 to 10?
I would say I think I'm going to be looking at this through a different lens, just because I think now that we have Reagan, I think there's a baseline of like a 7 that you just can't.
It's always going to be. Got it.
Right. So I'll say an 8.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a really good year, Tiny. That's a great year. Good for you.
And the thing is too, other things professionally that have happened. So for maybe 8.5 is actually low. I mean, wow. I would almost, if you had said Tiny, well, I think it should be a 9. I probably would agree with you. It was a good year.
That's great
for me. Yeah,
that's great. Wow, that's amazing. I I would probably give it like a 4 for me. The year was really
Okay.
rough. It was a really
Yeah.
rough year.
It was.
And you know, when I think back on it, it was just all these small things that just kept happening, and there was just so
Right.
much uncertainty and so much sadness. I mean, I just spent a lot of time crying, which is kind of unrelated to the next thing that I was going to say. What are some things like? What are some phrases or anything that you think needs to be left behind in 2022, not moving forward in 2023? My roommate and I were talking about this the other day because we each have a phrase that we can't stand that people say. And
Uh-huh.
so when the new year started, we both said like these need to stay back in 2022. So
Sure.
hers is whelp. Like she
Yeah.
cannot stand when people
That's a
say
bad one.
whelp. And I don't think I ever noticed it before. But
Do
now that
people say it or do they type it?
I see
I know they
both.
type it.
I've seen
Okay.
both. I've definitely seen people say it and I've seen people typing it. But do you know whelp is like a term? Like if a dog has puppies, you put them in a whelping box?
I know. I would have known that.
Oh, look at me knowing something you don't know.
That's right. Yeah.
So that was hers was Yelp. Mine
Well,
is
I'll be damned.
well, I'll be damned. Mine is I cannot stand when people, and I don't hear people say it. I see people write it when they say yes, queen, but it's
Ugh.
YAAAS queen. I don't
Yes.
know why that bothers me so much.
Because it's fake. It's fake.
And I don't know if I want anyone to call me a queen, you know, like,
Right.
yeah,
Queen of what?
queen. Yeah, no, you know, go Katie. Cool. I'm down with that.
Sure.
And how do you even pronounce that? YAAS. Yas.
Not to
Yas.
mention, why do you
weird.
even need to? So taking the queen out of the equation here, why does there need to be yes? Like, is that a way people say yes? Like, I've never heard anyone say yes,
No, I
regardless
don't know.
of queen, king, mother, father.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
boo.
it's so funny how these things come up, all these different words and phrases, and some of them stick around and some of them don't. My kids, because you know I teach 4th grade, so there's always this
Mhm.
new lingo that I'm hearing,
Oh,
and
sure.
I always think that it's inappropriate, always. So I'm always googling,
Yeah.
like, what does this mean? What does this mean? My kids love to say the word sus. Everything is
Yes.
sus. That's sus. That's sus. That's sus.
Mhm.
And I don't like it, but I can stand it. But the other one, oh man. My kids refer to each other as bruh all the time. Yo, bruh, let's do this,
Sup,
bruh.
bruh?
So
Yeah.
there is 100%, it is a no bro, because some of them say bro, some of them say bra. There is a no bro zone in my classroom. Like
Mhm.
if I hear it, their name goes on the board and they lose some part of their free choice Friday time. I absolutely
When you lose
can't.
part of your soul.
I cannot stand that. Like if you want to talk to each other like that outside of school, whatever, I can't control that. But in my classroom, I always tell them, I say, we're professional learners and we refer to each other in a more professional manner than one of my kids one time turned around at me and called me bro. And I'm telling you, I almost jumped out of my skin.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
who do you possibly think you're talking to right now?
Right.
Do not ever refer to me as bro. So it's a no bro zone in my classroom. I can't stand when I hear it. I can't stand when people say queen. My roommate can't stand Yelp, or not
Whelp.
Yelp. Whelp.
Uh-huh.
I was just curious if you had any that I know for you can't stand when people say, all right, go, ... That's a big one for
Or
you.
and go. I hate
And
it.
go.
I will screen
Yeah.
cap that and send it to Katie, and I spew out all kinds of obscenities when someone says that. People don't. That's not something that you really hear. Obviously, that's more typed on social media. But I can't stand when someone gives you permission. The whole point is recommendations for blah 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 and go. Well,
Mhm.
thank you for releasing the hounds so that I can now comment on your question anyway. I don't need, it's so stupid. I cannot stand superfluous language. Just say what you need to say
Okay.
and be done with it.
Mhm.
That's it.
Mhm.
And to your point with the yes queen, one that I remember, I don't see too much of this now, but this one really just bugged the piss out of me, was instead of friend, and mainly this was typed, was Fran. my best friend.
Oh, I don't know that one.
When have I ever had a friend? And when was Jennifer Aniston and Dave Schwimmer ever on the episode of Friends?
Yeah. I don't know where these things come from, and I don't know who decides to try them out to see if they stick or not. But some of them really do, and some of them stick around for a very long time.
Now, here's something else and I've never understood this, and I'm not going to say I thought that I was alone, but I just recently, it's funny you'd bring this up. I saw this on, I forget where it was. I think it was on social media. Someone I know what it was. It was a comedy special on Netflix. I can't remember the name of the comedian. It was a woman, but she said that she is tired of hearing women refer to each other as bees, bee itches. Okay. She doesn't want to hear that anymore. And she's 100% right.
Wait, I like bitch. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. She's sick and tired of hearing women refer to each other as that. Like, I'm going out with my bees. Okay. I can't wait to get together with this, or yes, or your queen bee. It is so in the era where we are now, where it's this, we have to be so careful of what we say. Mm-hmm. Why is that okay to refer to? And you don't hear, now granted, you don't hear men say it. Mm-hmm. I understand that, but it shouldn't be. There should be no reference to that at all from woman to woman, or any woman to man, or any combination thereof. It's unnecessary. It's stupid, and it sounds and looks horrendous.
Yeah, I guess I never thought about it. I think it's just a way to make somebody feel good about, like, that's
going to make you feel great.
I mean, I don't know. Do I say this? No, I don't think I say that. I don't know if I refer to my friends that way. I mean, sometimes they are being that. And
well, right.
I feel like they might actually deserve to be called that.
I don't know how many times I've used that word when I'm describing Katie to her.
Clearly, that's me. Yes, clearly that's me.
But the point is I'm not going to make a post. Like when you came over after Christmas on your way home so that we could exchange gifts and get together, I didn't make a Facebook post that said, hanging out with my bitch Katie. It's not. Yeah, that doesn't. I'm not going to do that.
This doesn't even sound right coming from you. That's so.
But that's the point. It shouldn't sound right coming from anyone. And I'm not trying to soapbox here. But the point is it makes no sense to me why you would do that. It's degrading in general. Mm-hmm. And I'm all for tough skin. I'm all for move on. Fluffy boy. Whatever. But it's just, why would you do that?
So I mean, I know that this is. I know that I do what I'm about to say, and that's just the way I talk. I guess it's just the way I'm used to it. How do you feel when girls call each other girl? Hey girl, how's it going? That's my girl over there.
I think it's look, I'm almost okay with anything being said except when it's done in that Valley Girl BS tone. Mm-hmm. that is someone who's never set foot in Los Angeles. Not that it's even okay for them to do it, but when you've only hung out in the podunks of Pennsylvania or Maryland and you're rolling out like you just walked off the latest episode of Housewives of Beverly Hills, it's just stupid.
Or
it's ridiculous.
Or when people randomly get like these accents when they've been drinking too much. Like, I think I told you my best friend Bridget went to London over New Year's one time by herself. Mm-hmm. And she went for, a week and did this solo self-discovery, fun trip. And she came back and all of a sudden she was British. All of a sudden she was British.
Like Madonna.
And I'm like, Bridget, you were there for 4 or 5 days. What's happening at this moment? What's happening? Why? I mean, it's not like you were immersed in the culture for months. You were there for a couple of days. I don't understand why this accent is coming out. But I got to tell you, when I came back from Australia, I remember I did the same thing. All of a sudden it was like, no worries, mate. No worries, mate. And people were like, you were there for a week. Like, stop. No worries, mate. Like,
I remember that.
Happening. Yes.
I remember you coming back. Now, I don't remember you speaking with the accent. What I do remember is you having picked up a lot of the vernacular. So those things like no worries,
is
good day, and I figured there was another one.
Good day, no worries. I'm just gonna go eat my veggie.
Oh, Vegemite.
Vegemite and Tim Tams. Yeah.
Tim Tams. I remember Tim Tams.
Yeah.
So it's like you brought some of the culture and the sayings back, just like if we would, down there, if we go over and say y'all, like, oh, I remember you telling me, Tiny, that's just bogan. And I'm like, what is bogan?
Did I say bogan?
Yeah, because remember, it was like their version of redneck. Wasn't it what it was? It was bogan, wasn't it?
I don't know. I don't remember that. I mean, this was like 10 years ago that I went.
Right.
I don't remember that. It's very possible.
Right. I'm pretty sure that I remember that was
Sorry.
that was the case. But again, it was just little sayings here and there. I do not remember you, aside from joking around, I don't remember you breaking into an Australian accent just, from having been down under. I never once came out of the studio and been like, could somebody do something with Steve Irwin here? Okay, the crocodile hunter is bugging me. Little Miss Urban here just needs to go.
Yeah. So there was another question that I was going to ask you about people's things that people say.
Well, I'll tell you this. So while you think of that, if you think of that, I'm going to let you know this, that I will probably come end of March, I think, be doing our podcast with a bit of a Southern accent. You know why?
Go on.
Well, because I will be going to CRS in Nashville for the week and having a good old time, rubbing the proverbial elbows with, like Luke Bryan and Jason Aldean. And what's happening here? Why are you taking headphones off? What's this? I don't understand why the headphones come off.
You know how that would make me feel and react, and you knew 100%. But I'm proud of you for doing any trip outside of that's just going to Ocean City, Maryland.
Thank you. Yes.
And that's something else that it's Tiny and I live such different lifestyles. Like we're both just complete opposites. And since I've known Tiny, every single year he goes to the same place on vacation, and it is Ocean City, Maryland, every single year. And I'm not the biggest fan of Ocean City, Maryland, for starters. It's not really my jam. There's other oceans that I like more, but I can never imagine going to the same place even twice. I need to go to a new place every single time I go on a vacation. And I mean, those trips when you go for like a week with your family are expensive. They are not cheap. To get a condo for a week, the food, the boardwalk, the games, all that jazz, it all adds up. And by the time you're spending what you would be spending if you went to another country, and that's just something that I just found so wild about you, is how content you are just always going to Ocean City, Maryland every single year.
I had this conversation.
I cannot
several times. It's nostalgia. It is. Look, I understand and admit that in reality, not that, whether I admit it or not, it's the truth. Ocean City is not the most beautiful beach in the world. It never has been, never will be. There's not the white powder sands, the crystal clear water. It's not the Bahamas. It's not Hawaii. I get it. It's not Australia. Totally understand that.
Mm-hmm.
What happens is to your point, and you have to go someplace different. We always went to Ocean City for the main reason of it's like this, handed down from generation to generation. But the reason is it is close enough to where the trip is not necessarily a hindrance, and it's far enough away to where it's a destination. But the main thing is it's where I spent my childhood, and it was where some of the greatest memories that I have are.
And that's cool, but why don't you do it every other year or every 3 years?
Because I love it so much, and luckily, hang on a minute. Luckily, I was able to find someone that, unbeknownst to me, in Mary in this case, has the exact same affinity for Ocean City and wants to go there every year. So I would almost base a relationship on whether or not someone, like if Katie and I ever decided that we wanted to date.
Not.
And I said, look, she'd say, where do you want to go on vacation? Ocean City, Maryland. Okay, nope. She'd probably go with me the first year. Mm-hmm. But then the next year, Ocean City, Maryland, and we would just be completely apart. And I was like, look, this is just not going to work. Mm-hmm. It's just not going to work.
I think it's kind of unbelievable, honestly, about you and Mary and how much you guys really are just like perfect for each other. Mm-hmm. Because I agree. I don't know anybody. I mean, I do have a couple friends that's, they would be content doing that every year, but very few people do I know that's the only place that they want to go is Ocean City, Maryland. Mm-hmm. But you did say before that if you took a trip anywhere else, you'd go to the Holy Lands. Is that what you told me?
Israel, yeah, Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I remember you told me that before. So I have 2 trips already, maybe a third already on the books for 2023.
Oh, Katie, won't you please tell us where you are going?
So in the middle of February, I'm going to France, but I'm not going to the main parts of France. I'm going to Burgundy, France, which is like the wine country area.
Right.
I work part-time at a winery, and the guy who owns the winery, his name is Michael Shaps. He also owns a winery out in France, and I'm going with some of the girls that work at the winery, and we're staying on the property in Burgundy, France, on the winery property.
That's nice. That's good.
Yeah. So we're going out there. We're going to Burgundy. We're spending a day in Switzerland. We're going to go to Geneva. We are going to spend a day in Paris. And then they're heading off to Spain. And then I'm coming back because I don't have a lot of time off work. And then I didn't tell you this part yet either. In June, I am crossing off my number one thing on my bucket list, which is...
I don't know.
Okay. Do you have any thoughts or guesses that are kind of coming your way?
Oh God, I feel like when you say it, I'm gonna be like, oh dang it, Alaska.
I mean, you're kind of on the right track. This is the landscape is very similar to Alaska.
Greenland, Iceland.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm going to go to the Beluga Whale Sanctuary, which I've been wanting to go to for years.
Oh God.
And interact with the belugas in their natural habitat. So I'm doing that in June. So those are my two big trips that I have planned, and possibly a third trip to Germany in April. That's just if that's a big maybe right now if it all works out. So 2023, I put so many things on the books, Tiny. It's unbelievable. I'm signing up for a half marathon. I signed up for that CrossFit competition. I'm taking 3 big vacations. I signed up to start working on my reading certification to become a reading specialist. Like I have 2023, I'm making it my bitch.
Yeah. And you never know. And you just never know what else 2023 holds.
You never know.
I'm going to leave it at that. You just don't know what's going to happen, but we're going to leave it with this. I'm going to leave you with a funny story here.
Oh boy.
Speaking of Katie going to swim with the belugas or whatever it is she's going to do. We were on the air years ago, and I mentioned something about beluga
caviar. Oh my gosh, Tiny.
And Katie looks at me with disdain in her eyes. Now, I wasn't saying I ate beluga caviar. I don't like caviar. I've never had it.
It's one of the most expensive things that you can buy is beluga caviar.
And I think that may have been what it was.
Yeah,
it was expensive foods, and I said beluga caviar. We were talking about things to talk about on the air. And she goes, wait a minute. You know what belugas are, right? And I said, what are you talking about? And she says, the beluga whale? She goes, do you know that are they an endangered species? Weren't they something?
They're not endangered species. But when I talk about beluga whales, I get very
yeah. She's like, how could anyone eat this? And she's talking to me like I do
and I was mad. I was talking to Tiny like Tiny had just killed a beluga.
Yeah.
First of all, beluga caviar does not come from belugas. That's not where
but you didn't know that at the time.
No, I did not know that.
I said, well, Katie, I don't think that I think beluga's a brand. I don't think it's the eggs of beluga whales. Well, it better not be. And I go on and I'm like, Katie, just slow your roll here.
Relax here for a minute.
You know, it's fine. But I mean, folks, when I tell you,
I didn't talk to you. Like Tiny
like
said
I
this.
did it.
Yeah. And I took it as Tiny killed a beluga whale and squeezed out caviar and ate it. And I couldn't talk to him anymore, which none of those things are true.
No.
Beluga caviar doesn't come from belugas. It is very expensive because I don't remember. It does come from something that is endangered and it's killing off the species or it is something like that, but it doesn't actually come from a beluga whale. But why the hell would you call it a beluga, like beluga caviar? What else are people going to think it comes from?
All you're going to do is confuse innocent, naive blondes like Katie. Do you really want to do this? Who can't afford it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
It's not like I'm ever going to be eating it, so it's why do I even care anyway? But so
this was
caviar.
The most random show. This is the most hodgepodge podcast we've seemingly ever done to start off 2023. But hey, we're glad to be here with you. We hope that you'll join us, continue to join us this year on YouTube, on Facebook. Please join our socials, communicate with us, and we'll be back next week with an all-new episode of the Tiny and Katie Show, powered by Root Hair Design, Route 11 in Marion. We love you.
Happy New Year!